Welcome all. So yes, like I promised, this time I will be talking about something to do with paranormal incidences and something to do with supernatural stories, the true stories which have come to us. So today it's that day. Let's get started quickly. Today I'll be talking about a true story in which the family which was traveling by their own vehicle in their own car, how the accident took place and how the whole family was finished and only one of the person sitting in that car was alive. And that became a complete shock for that person, that how come I am alive, because according to him he should have been dead and the rest of the family would have been saved or should have been saved. So let's talk about this. So this is a true story about a family, like I said, who were traveling within India with their own vehicle. And the person who was driving from their family, the person who was driving the car, was constantly saying after a couple of hours of driving, since it was a road trip, that he is feeling that someone is sitting behind the car and at the back seat of the car, and people, his own family, was just not believing because they were the ones who were sitting behind. So they were like that, why are you saying anything like this, because it is us only who are sitting behind, and there's no one else. Maybe you're exhausted, too much exhausted because of these long drives that we are doing, or maybe we should just take some break or something. But that person kept on saying that no, the feeling is there, and the car was stopped for a while. And then, even the driving seats were exchanged, and someone else from the family came to drive. But still, this one person who was there constantly kept on feeling, even while sitting in the next seat of the driver's seat, that there is something wrong that is happening, there is something supernatural, or there's something to do with some paranormal activity that is happening, or something is trying to distract the person who is driving and create something that should not happen. I mean, an accident or any mishappening that is going on. So he was the one that was saying, that we should stop in some temple and we should get some sort of a puja done while we are traveling, because there is something negative that is traveling along with us in this vehicle. But since his own family people refused to believe him and refused to consider his request, it could not happen. And then strange things started happening. The car started giving them troubles, while driving. Suddenly the flat tire was there, and then even the brakes were getting loosened up. So all these things, the family started noticing, and then they also started feeling scared when the night approached, the night time approached. And of course, in the hill, in the mountain areas, it is gets dark, very dark, without street lights in the remote areas, and they were traveling. So then they started feeling scared, and but it was too late for them to do anything, because all the temples, everything was closed by then. It was night time. Then suddenly even they started feeling that yes, there is someone else also who's there in this car. We are not alone, but we are unable to see who it is. But there's a very creepy feeling, there's a very sinking feeling which is going on, but among everyone who's sitting in the car after that. And then they thought, and of course the fog started taking place because of the night and the cold weather in the mountains. So everything was very much a tense situation was created. And finally, when they even thought of stopping somewhere in the middle and taking some rest and not driving through, even then something was telling them that no, we should not stop here, it's not very safe. And then the driving again started. Then all of a sudden, the whole family was able to see a lady suddenly coming in front of the car when it's completely dark, pitch dark. It's only the lights which were there in front of the car, the car lights. Through the car lights they could see, and the person who was driving just had to put the brakes on suddenly. And but when the brakes were put suddenly, with a sudden shock, it was a very big push for the whole family, and the car just went by towards the barricades. And it was such a bad hit that everyone else, their heads and the side areas, the glass went away, it got bursted, the car window glasses, and everyone just died on the spot. And the person who was driving, that person was absolutely safe. And of course he went through a major shock that what needs to be done, because he just could not believe that how come he should be the first one who should have been killed in this accident, and the whole family just got killed. Whereas it was supposed to happen the other way around, according to him. So this was narrated to us. And but that person, seriously, when he was searching for the paranormal experts and for the spiritual healers, he had one thing very clear, that there is something which is beyond just an entity or a supernatural image which just came in. Something was planted for the whole family. This is something that he could clearly feel. And then that was the time that he actually contacted us also, and said there is some sort of a black magic activity which has happened, and we should be checking that. And actually, when we did the case study for the person and the whole family, he was absolutely right. One of their own relatives just wanted everyone to be killed, but it was just that somehow, by the grace of their Kul Devi, which was there, and because of the ritual this person had recently performed in the village, he got safeguarded. And his putla was not given by the enemies, because according to them he was not traveling that day. It was a sudden plan that he made, that okay, he'll be joining the whole of the family. So he was somehow safeguarded, you know but then of course he lost the whole family. And then of course his protection, everything was done. And but of course the whole family was killed, and it was shown as if it's just a supernatural uh, you know scenario which has happened in the mountains, and the whole family is gone. Now of course the person got married, and he has his own family. But then the loss of the whole family like this is something that cannot be forgotten, of course, by the person concerned who went through all of this. So the point here is that in the road trips, when you're traveling with your whole family or friends, there can be incidences when you actually feel that someone is in your car, some supernatural entity or negative forces are in your car. Just stop by and don't travel that time, because you really don't know that what is being planted against you. And if you have felt any sort of accident that is about to happen, and you have been saved due to any of the blessings of the divine, it is high time that you should be getting yourself checked, that was it something to do with the carelessness of your driving skills or your exertions, or maybe something like this is being planted against you. Okay, so this was the real case story that I wanted to share with you, because this has happened. Not It's not taken very long. This episode that I've narrated, it's been almost a year now that this happened. So I hope this story and the realistic part of this story helps you to diagnose for your own self also, if someone is looking for any kind of help. Okay, not necessary from us, but maybe anywhere else. But do get this diagnosed for yourself. If there is any sort of accidental element that you're feeling through the supernatural course. Okay, so that's about it. I'll see you next week with another realistic information. Till then, goodbye and Jai Ma Kali.